Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to day 3 of the 12 Days of Christmas at Lori's Country Cottage. Today I have some great new things to show you. Let's start with Creative Grids Stripology Rulers. I'll talk about them all at once because they have similar features to start. It's Creative Grids, so it's got their patented anti-slip coating on the back. You can slide your ruler around until you put pressure and then it doesn't move. The Stripology rulers have clear markings for 1.5 inch strips and 2.5 inch strips. They also have markings for 45-degree angles, 60-degree angles, other angles as well. You use the Stripology ruler to cut strips, square up blocks. You can also cut triangles and parallelograms. Now let me tell you a little bit about each ruler. The Stripology XL Ruler actually came out a few years ago, and they removed from the market their first ruler, their first Stripology. The Stripology XL combines that first ruler with the Stripology Squared ruler. So it has the function of both of those rulers. You can cut the most number of strips out of the Stripology XL because it's large, and you can cut and square up blocks up to 12.5 inches. Next up is the Square Up ruler. It's used to square up blocks, again, up to 12.5 inches, and you can certainly use it to cut strips in 1/2 inch increments, but you have to cut fewer strips at a time. It's just not quite as big as the XL. The next ruler is the Squared Mini Ruler. It's this ruler, does the same thing, but only up to blocks that are 6 inches finished. And then at market, Goodwin had her new ruler, the Quarters Mini Ruler. It's a square up ruler, like this ruler, but it has slits every 1/4 inch instead of every 1/2 inch. Now, do you already have a Stripology ruler and really you only cut strips? Maybe you square up blocks? Well, I went to Goodwin's demonstration at Quilt Market. She has a new book. This book is awesome. Now, just physically about the book, it's coil bound, which is great. It'll open flat. And the pages are not flimsy paper. They are great, heavy-duty cardstock. Goodwin fills her book with QR codes that link to videos on YouTube. Do you know what a QR code is? What is that anyway? How does it work? Well, all you have to do is take your iPhone or your iPad and click on your camera button. When you hover it over a QR code, a pop-up appears on your screen. You click the button and it takes you to a website. In this case, Goodwin's YouTube videos. On the first page are the QR codes for all 4 rulers to watch videos and learn how they work. But this book is so much more. It will help you master your Stripology. It goes beyond cutting strips and squaring blocks and making rectangles. There are charts and illustrations inside that show you how to stripologize other patterns, and great charts to show you how to get the most out of your ruler, how to cut in 1/8 and 1/4 inch increments, as well as cutting diamonds, parallelograms, and triangles. Goodwin is an excellent instructor, and you have quick and easy access with the QR codes to do everything you can possibly do with Stripology rulers. Now, something else Goodwin has developed is G-Eazy stickers. We've showed these before. We use them all the time. She likes to use them. They're arrows, and you line them up, put them on your ruler, so you have quick access to where you need to cut. They're repositionable, And you can write on them with permanent marker if you like. I use the G-Eazy stickers all the time on my rulers. Here I must have been squaring something up to 2 inches. So instead of always looking for the 2-inch line and then the 2-inch line, I put an arrow. Now I just have to put that on my point. The G-Eazy stickers come in 2 colors, Fruity Fiesta and Tropical Brights. You can use them on any kind of ruler. What's up next? Well, you've been cutting strips with your Stripology rulers. How about storage for your strips? Here's our handy strip case storage case. I put some of my jelly roll strips inside. It's got handy little holders to hold your strips flat. It's adjustable, so I could double fold and move those dividers anywhere I wanted. This will help you keep your sewing space nice and tidy. What's up next? Well, I found these markers and I love them. Do you know about friction markers? Friction markers are heat erasable or rub erasable markers, pencils, and pens. They are not really marketed for fabric. If you look on the website, it says we're not marketed for fabric, but we use them all the time. My favorite friction marker right now is the actual felt tipped marker. It's kind of a wide line, so if I need something sharp and more accurate, I tend to go to one of the other friction pens, and then voila, they answered my problem. This is a narrow tipped felt pen. So when you use friction markers on fabric, you should mark in your seam allowance or mark on the back of your fabric. I hardly ever use friction markers on the front of my fabric. Why is that? Because sometimes they leave behind a white line, which is called a ghost line. In my research, I found that you are least likely to have a ghost line if you pre-wash and starch your fabric. So I thought, why not do a test? And I did. The other thing about friction markers is they say if the line disappears, which it will, and it gets cold, put it in the freezer or a cold car, the line will come back. So I thought I would test it. On November 18th, I made 4 identical samples. I just simply drew a line with each of the colors of the friction pen. Then I took my iron, my handy iron, and I erased the lines. And you can see how easily that erased. They're gone. Then I took my fabric and I put it in the freezer. And my lines came back. So what do you do if your lines came back? Well, I took my Grandma's Secret laundry spray and I sprayed the bottom of my sample, and then I put it back in the freezer, and the lines are completely gone. So you know that if you use Grandma's Secret laundry spray or Amadex or some kind of fabric stain treatment like that, you can get the friction markers out if it happens to reappear. These are my new favorite markers. Well, that's day 3 of the 12 days of Christmas. I showed you 4 different Stripology rulers, the new book, which is awesome. It's a great investment. If you have these rulers, you will use them so much more because she's made it so easy to look up the instructions. We've got the G-Eazy stickers in Fruity Fiesta and Tropical Brights to help you mark your lines on all of your rulers. And because you've been busy cutting strips, here's our strip storage case. And brand new to the store, our 10-pack of fine tipped felt markers from Friction. Have you downloaded your 3rd block yet? Make sure you download that barn block and get sewing if you want to have a quilt done before Christmas or save it for after. And if you haven't watched Lori's video yet, it's a great introduction and teaches you everything you need to know about the 12 days of Christmas. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 4.